Call 6 investigates. Our team working to find answers for you tonight. It's one of the worst feelings to come out of a restaurant or store and watch your car be towed away. While this happens to thousands of Hoosiers every day, there is one rule that tow companies routinely ignore, and it could mean getting back your car without paying a dime. Call 6 investigates. Paris Lubell has the investigation you'll see only on RTV 6.
It's a moment that no one wants to deal with.
I seen the sign, but I didn't think they were going to tow it that quickly.
Especially on a Saturday. Shad Burchett was taking his 7-month-old and 4-year-old to a birthday party in Noblesville.
You got a favorite car?
And I pulled into a very small parking lot, and I started looking around, and there was no place to park really close to it, and it was pretty cold that day. So I seen a business that looked like it was closed, and nobody was in any of the parking spots, and it was still pretty early in the day, so I figured, well, I'm not going to be here long. I can park here, and I was probably only there 45 minutes by the time they had towed the car.
Shad knows he made a mistake, but he wasn't expecting to go on an adventure to get his car back.
You know, I live on the south side of Indianapolis. This is on the north side. How am I getting home? How am I getting my children home?
And on top of that, his car seats for the kids were inside the car. Shad called the tow company only to be told to come back on Monday between 8 and 5.
Went up there, and the guy was just unloading the car from the tow truck, and I asked him, I said, "Sir, is there any way I can get my car back? I mean, my car seats are in there. My kids' stuff's in there. I need to at least get that stuff." And he didn't want to cooperate whatsoever.
Shad says he called the Noblesville police, and they came to help. Eventually, the officers were able to get his car seats out of the car.
Both the two officers that arrived first were like, "This isn't our first call here. We've been here several times for stuff like this."
The tow driver told him to return on Monday. Fast forward 2 days, and Shad returns to the yard, this time armed with facts about Indiana's laws, and he records the whole exchange on his cell phone.
It wasn't an abandoned vehicle.
I don't know, kiddo. I just let us...
Indiana state law requires a vehicle be tagged as abandoned for 24 hours before it can be towed from private property, unless it's for an emergency or it's affecting business. But before he forks over the $310 to get his car out, he brings up Indiana's code for towing cars in the first place.
Don't you have to wait 24 hours to tow a vehicle?
Nope.
Why is it called abandoned?
You need to read the code a little more specific.
We tried to talk to someone at Brooks Service. Every time we showed up, there was no one there. We finally got in touch with Jim Ringley, the owner of Brooks Service.
Hey Jim, this is Paris calling from RTV 6. How are you?
We wanted to get his side of the story, but he kept telling me in every tow story on the news, the tow company always looks like the bad guy.
I've got one side of the story, I'm trying to get the other, and
Jim declined our request for an interview.
You would think there would be more cooperation and more, I guess, humanity. I mean, he had no remorse whatsoever about the car seats or anything. He didn't care.
now in our investigation, we found that 24-hour rule where tow companies can tow you for an emergency purpose or if it's affecting business is what tow companies usually use as an excuse to tow your car. But according to the law, an emergency situation means the vehicle interferes physically with the conduct of normal business operations or poses a threat to the safety or security of persons or property. Now, how often does this happen? Well, we're not exactly sure. The state doesn't keep any records of towed vehicles. Todd?
So, Paris, what can someone do then if they've been towed against the Indiana code?
Now, we talked to multiple departments and agencies throughout central Indiana, and most of them don't actually enforce the law. The exception to that is Indianapolis's code enforcement. We've talked to some attorneys as well, and they say the best thing to do is take the case to small claims court to get your money back.
All right, and hopefully that works. Call 6 investigates. Paris Lubell, thanks.